Are you a high school student searching for a summer study abroad program, but not sure which one might be right for you? In today's video, I'm going to tell you about 3 different ones that are each unique, but also exciting that you may want to explore. So welcome to the channel. If you are new to this channel, I am Kimber, the study abroad specialist, and I help high school, college, and graduate students study abroad around the world. So I'm so excited that you are here. And if you are returning, welcome back to the channel. So we are talking about high school summer study abroad. So this is really exciting. I mean, obviously, I love talking about study abroad any time of the year, but for summer in particular, this is a great time to do it. A lot of students choose to do summer study abroad programs because, of course, you are usually out for some type of summer break, depending on where you are from around the world. When you're in college or university, and you can sort of play around with your different schedule and do different things. But in high school, a lot of times you have more of a defined schedule. And so I totally understand why so many students take advantage of summer study abroad. So the first program that we are starting with is a multi-destination program across Europe. And one of the great things about multi-destination, if you don't know about multis, I'm going to link a video above where I talked about them, but they are wonderful for students who are looking to get just more out of a location. So you get to travel to several different locations, and it is considered study abroad because you are there learning different things and you're getting involved, but they tend to be a lot shorter because you are going to different places and then you pick up and you move to the next place. So it's not where you kind of go to a place for 6 months and you're there and you're established and all of that. But a lot of students enjoy the multi-destination because you get to see so many different things and be involved with so many different cultures and interact. So it's really exciting. So we are talking about the Travel for Teens. This is an organization that organizes high school study abroad specifically for teens. And we were talking about their multi-destination travel opportunity for the summer, which is focused on Eastern Europe. Now, one of the things I was really excited about in seeing this program is its focus on Eastern Europe. We know about Western Europe and how so many study abroad programs are focused on Western Europe, and I think that's great. We know that Western Europe is, in kind of the overall scheme of things, much more modernized, is a lot wealthier in a lot of ways. But the opportunity to go to Eastern Europe is also exciting because you get to see old Europe, which I think is great. And I know that a lot of students who do programs like this, they tend to find it a little bit more exciting because, again, it's a little bit more off the beaten path, and let's say just going to France and kind of doing that whole thing, which shout out to France, no shame in that. But you do get to see a lot more of sort of the kind of old school Europe, and you get to experience a lot of things that a lot of students would not do. So to tell you about this program, it is really exciting because you get to go to 4 different locations, which are all very different, but in a lot of ways have some common threads, right? So you're going to get to go to Budapest, you're going to get to go to Vienna, you will get to go to Prague, and then you will also get to go to Krakow. And so one of the things that a lot of students will ask with these types of programs is it just a travel program or is it a study program? It's a little bit of both, and that's why it's designed that way. You, of course, are getting to travel, but you're also getting to learn different things. So within this program, you get to spend 2.5 weeks focused on immersion-based learning. So let's quickly talk about immersion-based learning and what that means. So that is a little bit different than a traditional study abroad program in the sense of you're not necessarily, again, sitting in a location for 4 months or 5 months, going to class every single day, kind of learning as you would at home, and you just get to be in this new location. It's different because with immersion-based learning, you typically are doing a variety of different things. So you may be focused on one topic for a couple of days while you're in the location, and the next few days where you're in the, let's say you're going to Vienna next, so you were just in Prague, and then you're going to Vienna next, and you're focused on a location that is culturally, you're focused on a topic that is culturally relevant to that location. So for a lot of students, they find that to be really exciting because, again, it's still a version of study abroad, but it's a lot different than what you would do. Let's say if you were just going to Paris or to Berlin for the summer and just studying there and you're just living there. Another question that a lot of students may have is, wow, that's really short, 2.5 weeks. On average, a lot of immersion-based learning programs are that short. One of the great things and one of the tricks that you could do, you can apply for multiples of those. So you could end up having a 6-week study abroad opportunity, you're doing different multi-destination. That's kind of in a lot of ways even more exciting than just going to one place, because again, you get to get that variety, and a lot of students don't get to have that when they are doing a traditional, more classroom, technical based type of study abroad program. So it's definitely something to consider. Now, with this particular program, with Travel for Teens, just to give you some of the stats on that, it's around 5,100 US dollars. That does include airfare as well, which is great because a lot of times airfare is not included with the program. Now, one of the things you may say is, wow, that sounds really expensive. That's not actually that expensive for a summer study abroad program. So you just want to keep in mind that most summer study abroad programs will cost you anywhere between 4,000 US dollars up to 10,000 US dollars. And that is pretty affordable in the grand scheme of things for study abroad. And within that as well, with Travel for Teens, they will also include the opportunity for you to be able to get your housing and your meals and all that great stuff. So definitely take advantage of that if you are interested in doing a multi-destination program. I'm going to link below to the Travel for Teens website so that you can learn more about that program and potentially apply for the summertime and get started with that. So the second program that I wanted to talk to you about is definitely for people who love the water. So if you're interested in marine biology, or you're interested in aquatics or scuba diving or whatever, I mean, all of this just sounds very summery, right? It's going to be perfect for you. This is from a organization called Broad Reach, one word, and that is their entire focus. They do summer study abroad programs for high schoolers that is all focused about nature and water. And so it's a really unique opportunity to be able to spend the summer doing something really cool out in the ocean, and not only just kind of, being out in the ocean and having fun, but you're going to be learning things. So they have everything from marine observatories opportunities to learning how to scuba dive, learning how to do different things to preserve the environment within the sort of grand scheme of doing aquatic information and things like that. So that is a really exciting opportunity, and that's really unique. Like, that's something that you hear a lot about. You may have heard about, for example, semester at sea. That's a type of study abroad program, and that's completely different than what they're doing. And this is really exciting because this is for high school students. We know that on average, a lot of high school students around the world don't even really get outside a lot in general to do anything. You're always on your phones and doing this and that and doing the TikTok and all that fun stuff. But this is a chance to actually sort of disconnect and get back into the real world with a lot of different exciting things. So you're going to get to explore, depending on what program you choose. They have a variety of programs. So that's another thing that's really exciting about them, is that you could do a build on type of program, or maybe you do multi 2-week programs because they have several 2-week programs, or you could do a longer extended program where maybe you're out there for 6 or 8 weeks, which is great. So I would definitely recommend checking them out. Now, just to give you some stats on them, their programs range from 4,200 US dollars, which, as you would imagine, would be the lower end programs of 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and they expand. So different price ranges through 9,000 US dollars if you're going to be doing longer. But you have to think about the fact that this is something that is very unique. So there's a lot of things that they have to arrange. There's a lot of different supplies that they're going to need for each student. And so that's where all those different costs come in. So definitely check out Broadreach. I have linked them below as well. It sounds like an amazing opportunity if you are someone that's interested in things that are wildlife and outdoors and in the ocean. Even if you're someone who, you may not want to do that in the future, but you're like, this just sounds really cool, I would definitely check that out. So definitely click in the description box and find that particular program for the summer for high school students study abroad. So the third program that I'm going to share with you is actually near and dear to my heart. I did not know it existed, but I'm so excited it does. It's not a program that I did, but it takes place in my favorite city in the world, at my favorite university in the world. And this is the CIS abroad in London at University of Westminster. University of Westminster is where I went for my second graduate degree. It is a fantastic school. I had so much fun there. They are an amazing organization and school, and there's not much to be said about London. It is the best place in the world, and don't at me if you don't agree. So I will just say that with this particular program, this is really exciting if you want to do a traditional program for your high school summer study abroad. So it's going to be much more traditional than the first two that we talked about, but definitely a great thing to do if you do want something that's going to be more classroom based. And also, as well, if you are living in London in the UK, you're going to have entry into the rest of Europe and other places to travel. So you won't miss out on that, but it definitely is much more traditional. So with the CIS Abroad London, what you're going to be getting is, I want to start out and say that it's kind of exciting because it is much more of a lower entry point for GPAs. Now, this is not a bad thing. Having a 2.7 or above, like starting at 2.7, some students are at that level when they're just, let's say, a sophomore. That's okay. But you just want to know that it is much more of a lower entry point. So that's a good thing because a lot of students, that's something that blocks them out because they're like, hey, I don't have a 3.5. I can't, reach that, but I still want to study abroad. So I like the fact that they are saying that, we want students who have a variety of academic prowess and ability, because again, study abroad is not just about how smart you are and what you can do in the classroom. They also want people to get exposure as well. So starting at a 2.7, you have eligibility to apply. Now, just to let you know more about it. So it actually is much more of a balanced course load, which is something that you're going to find in a lot of summer study abroad programs. So you typically will take 2 to 4 credit hours. So that's a lot different than, let's say, if you were doing a full, let's say, fall semester program where you would be taking 9 to 12 credits as you would back home. So it is a little bit more balanced because, again, they want you to have some classroom experience, but they know that students may be doing other things. Maybe you also had a chance to secure an internship. Maybe you also too are just going to be exploring and actually living life in the summer in London, which is a great place to be any time of the year. But summer is a great time as well because a lot of people who are from the UK clear out, and then it's just mainly full of tourists. So that could be exciting or crazy in its own way, but it is an amazing place to be during the summertime. And of course, traveling around Europe in the summer is really exciting in general. So one of the other things to note as well, which is great about this program, is that the cost includes accommodation. So as I talked about in the first example, that for some of the programs that you may find as you're doing your research do not include the price of your housing, but this one does. And so it's around 6,500. You have to factor in exchange rates and inflation, all that great stuff. It's around 6,500 on average for the cost for students to go for the summer. So again, that's right in the mid price range of what you would expect to pay for any program for the summertime, and it does include accommodation. Now, while the 6,500 US dollars that I quoted does include your housing, which is great, you've got that all squared away, which is often very stressful. You want to keep in mind that that particular price tag does not include some of the following things. So it does not include, number one, your travel to and from the UK. So you're definitely going to have to figure that out. Number two, it does not include your visa fee. So you definitely will need to secure a student visa to study in the UK, and that is not included in that price. Last but not least, your daily and monthly, weekly living expenses. So I know that living expenses can be very overwhelming as you're trying to think about how much do I need to actually live in London or wherever you're going for your summer study abroad. So I want you to head over and watch this video so that you can learn how to create a realistic summer study abroad budget. I'll see you over there.